Before the truth disappears, hit subscribe because this one will stay with you long after the screen goes dark. It started with rain. A slow, unrelenting drizzle that soaked the small town of Cedar Falls in a gray silence. Detective Claire Donovan stood beside her car, the flashing blue lights reflecting off the puddles like broken glass. The forest behind her pulsed with the sound of radios and search dogs. They were looking for a 22-year-old college student, Lydia Harrow, last seen walking home after her late-night shift at the diner on Route 9. Her backpack was found 3 miles off the road, torn open. Inside were her notes, a recorder, and a list of names written in neat handwriting. Lydia wasn't just another student. She was a true crime blogger, the kind who lived for danger. Her podcast, Small Town Shadows, had recently started digging into a series of unsolved disappearances around Cedar Falls, cases the police had quietly closed. And now she had become the latest name on her own list. Claire hated cases like this, the kind that made the department look both careless and guilty. She'd been on the job 12 years, long enough to recognize when a case was more than a disappearance. This one had weight. Something in the air, an expectation that whoever took Lydia wasn't hiding in panic, but waiting. Inside the evidence tent, a deputy handed her the recorder found in the backpack. "There's one saved file," he said, time-stamped the night she vanished. Claire hit play. At first, just static. Then Lydia's voice, soft but steady. Entry 47. Following up on the Harland Motel. Room 6 still sealed. Same sound again tonight. It's not wind. I'm sure someone's down there. If this is the connection, then... The recording cut off with the sound like the mic being dropped. Claire rewound it, played it again, each time waiting for something more. But that was it. The Harland Motel had been closed for 5 years. A fire, 2 deaths, and a lawsuit that buried it in dust. Yet Lydia had been there, chasing something the police had missed. And now Claire had to follow her trail. The motel sat at the edge of town, surrounded by overgrown grass and silence. The yellow "No Vacancy" sign hung sideways, one bulb still flickering like it refused to die. She ducked under the yellow tape and entered. Inside, the smell of mildew and rot hit her like a wall. Wallpaper peeled from the corners. Ceiling tiles sagged. She swept her flashlight across the room numbers. 3, 4, 5, 6. Room 6. The door was nailed shut from the outside. Old police tape hung loose around the knob. She checked the report. The fire had started in this very room, killing the motel owner and an unknown male guest. Lydia must have been investigating their connection. She pried the nails free and stepped inside. The room was blackened, but still intact enough to tell a story. A metal bed frame, burned carpet, a melted TV. She crouched near the wall where the fire had been worst. Under the plaster, faint writing etched into the soot. She shone her light closer. 3 words. Find her first. Her heart kicked. Was this written by Lydia or the person she was chasing? She photographed it, sent it to forensics, and continued scanning. The recorder in her hand beeped, low battery. She turned it off, checked her phone, no signal. The storm outside had turned the sky into a wall of gray. Then from somewhere below her came a sound. A single knock. She froze. Another knock. Then silence. She stepped carefully toward the bathroom, flashlight cutting through the darkness. The floor creaked. The knocking came again, lower, rhythmic, metallic. She crouched. One corner of the burnt linoleum was peeled back. She pulled it open. Underneath was a square of plywood, a hatch, barely noticeable beneath the ash. It wasn't in the original blueprints of the motel. Someone had added it later. She knelt down, lifted it. Cold air rushed up, like breath from an open grave. Her light revealed a narrow staircase descending into blackness. The walls were concrete, damp. Her radio crackled suddenly. "Detective Donovan, we just got something," the deputy said. She exhaled. "What?" "The audio from Lydia's recorder. We ran enhancement. That last sound before it cuts off, it's not static." She frowned. "Then what is it?" "It's a voice," the deputy said quietly. "It's saying your name." Her hand froze on the flashlight. "My name?" she whispered. "Yes, detective. Lydia says, 'Claire, if you find this, then the file ends.'" She stood perfectly still, the silence around her pressing in like water. How could Lydia have said her name? Claire had never met her, not once. Her pulse thudded. She aimed her light down the hatch again. The air below shimmered faintly. Condensation or heat, she couldn't tell. Then her light caught something. A fragment of yellow tape, fluttering at the bottom of the stairs. She climbed down. The basement was narrow, claustrophobic. Shelves lined with jars and tools covered in thick dust. In the far corner sat an old reel-to-reel tape recorder. A single tape inside. Label, "Donovan Interview." She didn't touch it. She couldn't. The recorder was still plugged into the wall. Outside, thunder rolled. Rain began hammering the windows upstairs. She turned to leave, but the sound of a door closing echoed faintly from somewhere above. She froze. "Hello?" No answer. Another sound. Slow footsteps creaking across the floor above her. Her radio hissed again, but this time it wasn't her deputy's voice. It was Lydia's. "You weren't supposed to come here yet." The light flickered. The recorder on the table clicked. Its reels began to turn, slow and steady. She backed toward the stairs, pulse racing. On the tape, Lydia's voice returned, calm, distant. "Detective Claire Donovan, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry. I found something I shouldn't have, and now so have you." The tape stopped. A bullet. From above, a faint shape moved past the stairwell, someone walking by the open hatch. Her light dimmed, battery dying. She reached for her gun, heart hammering against her ribs. Then she heard a whisper, right next to her ear. "Find her first." The voice wasn't Lydia's. She bolted up the stairs, stumbling into the main room. The door to room 6 slammed shut behind her. Rain hammered the glass, wind howled through the cracked frame. She reached for her radio, dead. But when she looked at the desk where she'd set down Lydia's recorder, it was gone. In its place sat something new. An evidence bag, clean, sealed, marked with today's date. Inside was a flash drive, label, "Room 6 Footage, Detective C. Donovan." Claire's blood ran cold. She turned toward the door, breathing hard, scanning the room for movement. There was no one. Only the hum of distant thunder and the faint glow of a single red light, blinking from the corner, recording her. And that's when she realized she wasn't the one investigating the case anymore.
Cedar Falls Police Department never felt safe after dark. The hum of the fluorescent lights, the echo of half-finished reports, the sound of someone typing in the next room. It all felt too alive for a place that was supposed to represent order. Detective Claire Donovan sat at her desk, rainwater dripping from her coat onto the floor. Her eyes stayed locked on the evidence bag in front of her. The flash drive labeled Room 6 Footage, DTC Donovan. She hadn't told anyone she'd found it, not even her partner, not the deputy who'd been monitoring her radio feed. Something about it felt personal, like whoever left it wanted her alone when she pressed play. The computer whirred to life. The drive loaded instantly. One file. No date, no timestamp. Just the name, Play Me First. Claire hesitated, then clicked. The screen filled with grainy black and white video. A small room, familiar. Burnt walls, ash-covered bed frame. Room 6. At first there was nothing, just a faint hum from the camera's mic. Then movement. Someone stepped into frame. Claire leaned forward. The woman was wearing jeans and a dark jacket, camera slung around her neck. She looked anxious, tired, determined. She bent down toward the floor, prying up the linoleum. A hatch. It was Lydia Harrow. The timestamp flickered. Not a number, but a name. Donovan, 02. Claire's stomach tightened. The camera's angle shifted as Lydia descended the stairs, flashlight trembling in her hand. The scene on screen mirrored exactly what Claire had seen just hours earlier. The concrete walls, the rusted table, the recorder in the corner. Then, halfway down the steps, Lydia froze. Her light caught something on the floor. She crouched, whispered into the mic. "This isn't the same layout." Static distorted the image. When it cleared, Lydia was standing in front of the reel-to-reel recorder. She reached toward it. The tape was already turning. A voice echoed from the machine. A woman's voice, calm, deliberate. "Lydia, you shouldn't have come here." The camera jerked. Lydia spun around, breathing hard. "Who's there?" "You were right about the motel, but wrong about the year." The screen flickered again, the frame filled with static. Then an image froze. Claire's own face, staring directly into the lens, illuminated by flashlight. The file ended abruptly. Claire sat back, pulse hammering. No record of her being filmed existed that night. No body cam, no CCTV near the motel. No one on her team had footage. Yet the flash drive had captured her exactly as she'd looked when she entered room 6. She checked the system logs. The footage metadata wasn't old. It had been created 37 minutes after she left the scene. Someone had been watching her. Someone with access. The next morning, Captain Ruiz called her into his office. "You look like you didn't sleep," he said, not looking up from his files. "I didn't." He gestured to the chair. "You're off the Harrow case, Claire. The state's taking over." She froze. "On what grounds?" Ruiz sighed. "There's a concern about your involvement. Evidence was logged last night under your name without a warrant. A flash drive. You know the rules. Anything submitted without chain of custody is tainted." Her throat tightened. "I didn't log it." He finally met his eyes. "Then who did?" She said nothing. Ruiz rubbed his temple. "Look, I know what this case means to you, but Lydia Harrow's parents are pressing for internal review. Her mother says Lydia emailed her 2 days before she vanished, said she was meeting someone from the police, a woman named Donovan." Her stomach dropped. "I never met her," she whispered. "Maybe you didn't, but her email was timestamped at 8:13 p.m. that night, right before she disappeared." She stood. "You think I had something to do with this?" "I think someone wants it to look that way." Ruiz slid a file across the desk. Inside were stills from surveillance cameras, one from a gas station near Route 9, the night Lydia vanished. The image showed a car parked by the pumps. Claire's car. She swallowed. "That's not possible." "It's the same license plate, same make, same dent on the rear fender, but the timestamp doesn't match your alibi." She stared at the photo, the reflection of the gas station lights glinting off the wet asphalt. Ruiz leaned back. "If someone's setting you up, you need to be careful. But if you're lying to me, Claire, this will bury you." She left without a word. That night, she drove back to the motel. Not through procedure, through instinct. The place was sealed again, now wrapped in fresh police tape. She parked a block away, flashlight in hand, and slipped through the back. The rain had stopped, but the air was heavy, full of static. The flashlight flickered once before stabilizing. Room 6 looked untouched.
until she noticed the camera in the corner. A small, modern surveillance unit, its red light blinking faintly. She unplugged it, popped the SD card, and pocketed it. Then she saw something else. Another note, this one fresh, taped to the wall above the burnt bed frame. It read, "You shouldn't have erased 2009. Her mind raced. 2009 was the year of the fire, the year I was first assigned to Cedar Falls PD. Back then, she'd worked a domestic case that ended abruptly when evidence went missing. No one ever followed up. Now Lydia Harrow, a true crime blogger, had been investigating the same motel. She knelt beside the charred wall where the note was taped. The faint edges of earlier handwriting bled through, the same 3 words she'd seen before. Find her first. Her phone buzzed. No number, just an audio file attached to the message. She pressed play. A voice distorted, but clear. Lydia's voice. Detective Donovan, you knew her. You were there when it started, but you forgot. Static. Then another voice, lower, male. She didn't forget. She just covered it better than the rest of them. The call ended. Claire sat back, the reflection of its dim light trembling in her hand. Her flashlight went out. And then, from the corner of the room, she heard a soft click. Not from her recorder this time, but from behind the wall itself. A panel shifted. Dust fell. A hidden compartment opened just enough for a faint red light to blink from within. Another camera. Its lens turned toward her and focused. Then the screen of her phone lit again. One message across the top. We're still recording you, detective.
The storm over Cedar Falls had turned from rain to mist, wrapping the streets in a pale haze that muted everything. The cars, the lights, the voices. It was just before 4 a.m. when Detective Claire Donovan parked across from the Ridgefield Records annex, headlights off, the flash drive and SD card burning a hole in her pocket. Inside the precinct, the halls were silent. Everyone had gone home, but Claire still had her badge. For now. She swiped in through the rear entrance, the one used for off-hours file access. The hum of the fluorescent lights felt almost alive, vibrating against the metal shelves that lined the walls. Box labels flickered past her flashlight beam. 2008 arson, 2009 unsolved, 2010 suspicious deaths. Then she stopped. Ridgefield Motel Fire, 2009. She set the box on the desk, hands trembling as she opened it. Inside were brittle case photos, charred debris, and a single incident log with her name typed across the top. Lead investigator, D.T.C. Donovan. She flipped through the sheets until she saw it. Witness interview, E. Marlowe. The transcript stopped halfway through, torn mid-sentence. He said the tapes would prove it. He said if I ever told anyone, they'd... The page ended there. The rest had been ripped away. Claire leaned back, breathing shallowly. Her memory of that night flickered like bad film. A woman's voice pleading, the smell of smoke, the sudden flash of orange light. She'd been pulled from the scene minutes before the explosion, ordered to leave by her superior, Captain Ruiz. And now, 15 years later, the same man had shut her out again. She loaded the flash drive from room 6 into the precinct's evidence computer. The monitor filled with folders, hundreds of them, box 12, box 13, box 14, each labeled by year, stretching back decades. She opened one at random. Box 09, audio transcripts. Inside, files of recorded interviews, but one caught her eye. Marlowe final recording, .wave. She hesitated only a moment before pressing play. At first, a woman's breathing, then a voice, steady, resigned. This is Elena Marlowe. I don't think the police are ever going to stop him. I think they're helping him. Room 6 isn't what they said it was. It's where they keep them, the ones who talked. Claire's blood ran cold. Detective Donovan tried to help me, but she doesn't know who she's working for. None of them do. Static filled the rest. Claire pressed pause. The timestamp read,
April 12, 2009, 1:42 a.m. The motel burned down an hour later. She stared at the screen, realization spreading like ice. She had been the last person to see Elena alive. The flash drive clicked. Another folder appeared. This one locked. Name, Donovan access only. Her cursor hovered, then she entered her old badge number. It worked. The folder opened to a single video file. Donovan, Room 6, 2024. She hit play. The camera showed a dark room, familiar walls, same flickering bulb above, the burned-out bed frame in the corner. Claire's heart began to pound. The video quality was perfect, not grainy like the others. The footage was live. A figure walked into frame. Her, wearing the same jacket she had on now, holding the same flashlight. She looked behind her instinctively, but the hallway was empty. On screen, her recorded self knelt down and lifted the floor panel. Underneath, not the basement stairs this time, but a room full of shelves, tape recorders, file boxes, personal items. Her own badge glinted among them. The screen flickered. Suddenly the camera angle changed, now facing her, zooming closer. Her reflection in the monitor blurred, then refocused, and behind her appeared another shape. A man. She spun around in the real room, empty, but her recorded self wasn't alone anymore. The man in the footage stood half in shadow, his voice calm. "You were never supposed to find her, Claire." She froze. The voice was familiar. "You just couldn't stop digging, even after we buried it." The figure stepped into the light, Captain Ruiz. "We didn't erase 2009, we reset it."
Claire's hand shook as she paused the footage. The edges of the screen trembled from the pressure of her grip. Her chest burned with realization. Ruiz wasn't covering a single case. He'd been managing dozens of them, every disappearance that threatened to expose the motel's connection to the department's off-books operations. She had been his perfect tool, the investigator assigned to each one, the face of legitimacy for reports that would never see daylight. And Lydia Harrow? She'd stumbled onto it all while researching the motel fire. Claire ejected the flash drive, pocketed it, and pulled her gun. The hum of the overhead light sounded louder now, like a pulse. Footsteps echoed down the hallway behind her. "Claire," Ruiz's voice called softly. "You shouldn't be here." She turned, weapon steady. He stepped out from the shadows of the archive hall, calm, his badge gleaming in the dim light. "Put the gun down," he said. "Let's talk. You used me, 15 years, and you used me to clean up your mess." His tone didn't waver. "You were the best investigator I had. You still are. But you don't understand. This goes higher than me." Claire shook her head. "Where's Lydia?" He exhaled slowly. "She's gone, Claire. Just like Elena. Just like all the others who wouldn't stop recording." "Then what's this?" She held up the flash drive. "Why leave this where I'd find it?" Ruiz's expression softened. "Because someone has to take the fall." A low whine filled the room, feedback from hidden speakers. The monitors on the wall flickered on, displaying a live feed from the evidence lab. In the center frame, Claire standing in the records room, gun raised, facing her superior. "Every camera's rolling," Ruiz said. "They'll see a detective who broke in, tampered with evidence, pulled a gun on her captain. That's the story they'll believe." Her hand trembled. "You're insane." "No," he said, taking a step closer. "I'm careful." The lights above buzzed violently, then died. Darkness swallowed the room. Claire ducked back, heart pounding, flashlight flicking on with a sharp beam. The desk where Ruiz had stood was empty. Then the hum returned. The monitors flickered back on, every screen displaying the same paused frame, her standing alone in the dark. In the center screen, a file name glowed at the bottom. Evidence Box 12. Case closed. Her phone vibrated in her pocket. A message, no number. Upload complete. She blinked, confusion mixing with dread. She pulled out the phone. The message expanded. A link. A streaming page. Her blood froze. The video title read, She was solving a crime until she became one. The thumbnail was her face, captured from the live feed, eyes wide, flashlight in hand. Ruiz, what did you... It's out now, Claire. The whole story, your story. The world finally sees you. She looked up, and on every monitor her own name and badge appeared beneath the headline, Detective Donovan suspected in Lydia Harrow disappearance. Her knees buckled. Her weapon slipped from her hand. The door behind her opened slowly. Ruiz's silhouette stood in the frame, the rain from the outside spilling onto the tile floor. He spoke softly. Sometimes, the only way to close a case is to become the next one. When the police arrived hours later, the evidence room was empty. No Ruiz, no Claire, only a single flash drive left on the desk, sealed in an envelope marked Evidence Box 15. Inside it, the entire chain of files Ruiz thought he'd buried. But also one final video. The footage showed Claire in her car, dashboard camera recording, her voice calm and steady. This is Detective Claire Donovan. If you're hearing this, the story isn't about me. It's about what they built to keep people quiet. The motel, the recordings, the missing cases, they're all connected. Don't stop looking. She stared into the camera for a moment, then reached forward and turned it off. The file ended there. 3 days later, the department received an anonymous email. Attached was a single line of text. Evidence Box 15. Uploading now. And across the internet, the video began spreading, one view at a time. Her voice carried through static, calm and steady. If you think this story was intense, you're not ready for the next one.